I'm out of something that I can go back to this episode.
You do a flashback.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, interesting, because I kind of like the idea of. I think with children, it's fun to I guess promote an idea of innocence and kind of imagination, and that's how I look at Santa, just an imagination type of thing, as something to look forward to throughout the year. I don't think there's any harm in, at least in the outset. I mean, initially to be good, make a list, fall in love with the idea of Christmas, but the idea of Christmas should not be about getting gifts. It should really be about enjoying, being thankful for the time with your loved ones. So I like to kind of look at Halloween through New Year's as a time to spend a lot of time with loved ones and kind of enjoy getting lost in imagination and kind of, the idea of things. Thanksgiving was not founded under the best of conditions.
Right.
None of this stuff really is at heart a fairy tale, but I think it comes down to each particular family how they want to interpret it and how they want to celebrate it. I don't think there's anything wrong for a family to be like, hey, just put your stuff, put a list, and then under the tree it'd be something nice. Of course, there's gonna be a time when kids are smart. They get wise eventually. They're gonna start asking questions, and it ends. But I don't know. I don't think I need to be the one to end it sooner than it needs to be, as long as it's not hurting anybody, or hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Because I also don't want to have the kid that's going to school and fucking making all the other kids cry because they're saying, yeah, they ain't no Santa Claus, you dumbass niggas. It's like, yo, Santa Claus don't leave fucking gift receipts, nigga.
Hey, that shit end quick, man. As soon as you live in a house without a chimney, man, shit change, So
yeah, like how Santa gets our fucking studio apartment on the fucking 6th floor, nigga? So Santa a thief? Isn't that like if Santa can break in when no one else can break in? There's just too many other.
That's that Friday After Next Santa.
Right.
Exactly. You got fucking Ricky Smiley going out the fucking place. Like you fucking leaving cheese at night for Santa, and he come in and fucking snuff you in your fucking chest. Yeah.
I like what you did there.
But I think to each their own. I don't think sometimes and we'll talk about this later in the show, but I don't think it's time to. I think it can be kind of dangerous to make kids too serious too soon.
Oh, I agree with that. Most definitely. They need to know that they're kids for sure.
But also, I think there is something to be said about shit. I'm the one busting my ass 365 to put this shit underneath the fucking tree. So I think it's about as long as there's an appreciation, as long as I think there's innocence involved. I think there's nothing wrong with this, I guess, living the lie until it's time for the lie to be eradicated. Yeah.
And that's where I'm at too, man.
Yeah, I think that's almost exactly what happened, with us too. Because I mean, going back to what Van was saying, I remember back when Adonis was small, and there was a couple of years where you could tell he didn't get it. I mean, same thing with birthdays. He didn't get it. He knew it was a celebration or something, but he didn't get it, and he knew he had new stuff. And then with daycare and stuff, you see Santa Claus and stuff being promoted, but even then, you could tell he didn't get it. He was like, I don't really understand this. So there was that time where you could tell he was in between believing and not believing, but then at some point he was like, well, you know what? I think that's what killed it for him too. I asked for certain stuff. I didn't really make a list at the time, and I didn't tell Santa about certain stuff, but I still got it. And I only told I mean, Adonis. Adonis, he always asking questions the way he gonna put stuff together relatively quickly. So I was like, well,
right.
Let me be straight with you up front, bro. But yeah, and that kind of how that went. But yeah, in them younger years, I say about 3 and down, they good. But when them jokers get to talking and really I think 3 they really fluently really talking, and by 4 they asking them questions where they doing a little bit of critical thinking, and it's I'm not asking no more just because I got questions that want to annoy you. I'm asking questions now because I'm trying to understand something, and I'm really trying to understand. So what's up? And then it's all over.
Right.
And then it's all over.
But to kind of expand on that, it's just like how you say Adonis can put 2 and 2 together and all that. And I really think right now, especially when you got kids that's hyper aware, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that get into every damn thing. Like we got Mike a trampoline, like a little tight trampoline. That was one of his gifts. Okay, so all this stuff, you know, it coming to the house via Amazon, whatever. So we put that stuff in our bedroom because he don't really be in our bedroom, but we didn't really stash the shit. Like we didn't have it in the closet. The whole intent and purpose was to put it in the closet, but I just kind of threw it in the room, put it behind the bedroom door. Well, lo and behold, he come in there, see the trampoline leaning up against the wall in the bedroom behind the door. He see it.
Yeah.
So of course you got to kind of make up an excuse about what that is and try to make it seem like he didn't see what he saw. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Christmas morning, he come downstairs and he got a fucking trampoline already down there set up. Of course, he might not, you know, because it probably was a week or two in between when he saw that and when the trampoline was actually put together.
Yeah.
But with these kids, man, when you know you got a kid that retain well, that don't forget shit, it's kind of hard to keep that wool pulled over their eyes for a substantial amount of time. Because I can tell you, man, like I say, my son only 2, and he hyper aware. He remember everything. If you tell him just in passing, if he wants some Chick-fil-A and you don't really feel like going to get it, and you just be like, yeah, we'll go by there, just to shut him up. And then he noticed you going home, and because he know what it looked like going to Chick-fil-A, and he don't see you going in that direction, then we got a problem. Because he's so aware that he know the route to get to the Chick-fil-A by us. So if he don't see you doing that when you say you were going to do it, that's a problem. So it's some kids, man, I don't really know if it's just not necessarily that. I mean, we all know some kids are smarter or more aware or just more logical than others at certain ages. But you get some kids that they just got enough logic that you can't fool them. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, you just have to just be direct about it. And because they going to figure it out anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he saw that trampoline in our room, he already know we got the shit. He know damn well, didn't know damn Santa bring it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how that shit in our house 2-3 weeks before Christmas. And he don't even know what he getting. Because our son at the age where he don't say, I want this or I want that. We just see shit that we want him to have or like stuff that we know he like the little construction vehicles or whatever, and we just get shit that he like because he don't really know what he want. So if he were to see that stuff, he know it's here. He know Santa didn't bring it. He probably already done figured out that we got it.
And you know what, man? I think that's actually, like, in many ways, speaking of hyper awareness, that's like almost the perfect segue into some of the stuff we're gonna get into. Because I want to actually call out the big man Rich on this first, man. So like I'm gonna tell a story before I go into this. So like with that being said, like, and kids being hyper aware, we're in the age of, I'll say, you know, Trayvon Martin Ford, where it's a lot of social indifference and stuff promoted in the media, and where even if a kid not watching TV, they gonna encounter it out in the world. So like I remember, like, I kind of had that a semi conversation. You know, I ain't gonna get into the whole conversation what it done at an early age, but like I remember him having his first semi-racial incident in Taekwondo when he like 7 years old or something, and that's when, you know, like the conversation had to take on a different amount of gravity. And it's like, all right, we had the conversation, but now I gotta be serious about the conversation to the point where, like, yeah, I told you before, but now that you ain't experienced it, I gotta take it to another level. And like I said, I'm gonna call out the big man first, because as he done already pointed out, you got 2 fathers sitting here, and you got one that's gonna be a father at some point. And it's like, based off consciousness, do you have a conversation about race and what your son and really your daughter gonna encounter at a younger age? Like, how do you go about determining that? Do you base that off of how or where they are, or what age they are?
Shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Well,
I ain't letting you escape.
Well, I think it's something that especially a black parent, needs to have a solid plan for, because it's negligent if you wait too long, or you wait for all this stuff to happen. I think you have to almost read the climate around the child, even if that, I mean, including, the school system. What's the demographic makeup? How diverse is the neighborhood you live in? And also, harking back to the Santa Claus thing, like, you kind of want to preserve innocence until the point where it becomes harmful to the child or detrimental. So, you also want to cross-reference with, your life and how, if you can remember your first encounter, negative or otherwise, and how your parents handled it, and when you wish that someone would have spoke to you about it. So I think when they're starting to, I think a good rule of thumb is when they start to become more exposed to more people beyond your family, is when you had to start introducing things slowly. Because as long as they're around, like, mostly cousins or, people they grew up with, they're somewhat insulated for, a long period of time. But then you also have to think about, so they're playing basketball or football or soccer with kids from different towns, different areas, and they're being exposed to their parents, because you're also having to combat how those kids are being raised and the values that are being instilled in them. So you want to make sure that your kid is not the least informed person in the bunch, because that makes them probably the most influenced, And it's not an easy thing to do. And it's probably not something that, you even enjoy doing, as I'm sure you gentlemen can attest and shed more light on. But information is a very undervalued resource, and something that should be shared at a more frequent rate than it actually is. Yeah. And ignorant people become ineffective adults.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I know, like at least from my perspective, like, I remember one, when Adonis had his first serious incident, and I need to talk about it, is like, in a way, what I remember the most about it is, in a way, you're killing innocence at that point. And the reason I say that is because, like, naturally, you bring a child into the world and you raise them as everybody is equal regardless. Everybody is to be treated the same regardless. Like, this isn't that, like literally, like, racism isn't something that I can think is even remotely taught in a black home, simply because of how we go about things. It's just, as a child, you treat it as a child. Like, you don't teach them stuff like that. And then when that happens, it's like you killing innocence, because, like, I remember Adonis having that look like, yeah, but you told me, way back when, all people are equal and should be treated as equal, and right along with, I shouldn't go out starting fights, but I should defend myself, and don't be selfish. Like, all these lessons are taught together. And it's like, all right, so you that said all this over all this time, and now you saying, all right, treat everybody equal, but I'm not equal, or at least, like, I'm not gonna be treated equal in the society that I'm in. And then a child is sitting there looking at you like, why? Like, what do you mean? And then, like, it's partially a history lesson, and then it's also like a socioeconomic lesson. It's a life skills lesson. It's a whole lot of things wrapped in one, and you see, like, a child's innocence diminish along the way. Because, like, as I look at him progressing, I remember with the first time, we moved down to Florida, and that goes back to what you just said earlier about, the environment that they're in, and then demographics and stuff that they're around. And in Virginia, he's in a completely different world. In D.C., he's in a completely different world. You move to somewhere like Florida, racism get real quick. You know what I mean? Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? And then on top of that, my son is very well stuff like Trayvon Martin and other kids being, killed for playing with BB guns and all this stuff, right? So it's like